Well, it's not a good day to be one of Australia's supermarket giants. The big chains are back in the firing line, the target of a suggested crackdown that could see them pay millions if they break the rules.
This is all about making the Food and Grocery Code stronger, more robust and fairer.
A code of conduct crackdown that would see hefty financial penalties for misbehaviour.
This is all about a fair go for farmers and families.
Recommendations from a government report helmed by former Labor Trade Minister Craig Emerson, aiming to stamp out the mistreatment of suppliers.
This review is about trying to level things up a bit.
Currently, the Food and Grocery Code of Conduct is a voluntary scheme that governs how supermarkets interact with suppliers and contains zero penalties for breaches, such as threatening to terminate business or failing to pay providers within a reasonable time frame.
We've heard frequently about the challenges that suppliers have in making complaints. There really is a fear of retribution out there.
Dr Emerson is now pushing for that code to be made mandatory and enforced for all supermarkets earning more than $5 billion a year, which includes Coles, Woolies and Aldi. Violating the code would result in fines worth up to $10 million, 10% of the company's annual turnover, or 3 times the benefit gained from the breach. Whichever of those 3 options amounts to the greatest.
The reason that the penalties are so hefty is to deal with systemically bad behaviour where supermarket management is actually saying to its buyers, we want you to get the absolute best price and we don't care whether the suppliers survive or not.
But the report stopped short of calling for a forced breakup of big chains to address the overwhelming market concentration.
Stores would be forced to close, workers would lose their jobs, and local shoppers would say, what happened to me Coles? What happened to me Woolworths? Oh, well, the government closed it. Doesn't sound like a very good idea to me.
A decision the opposition says ignores the heart of the issue.
It's the case in the United Kingdom, in the United States and other comparable markets that divestiture power exists, and so why would Australia not look at it?
So will the threat of hefty fines be enough to keep companies in line?
Earlier today, we spoke to Michael Cunial. He's a cherry farmer who's quit the industry because of constant ill treatment from the big supermarkets. Michael, do you think these proposed regulations will keep the big supermarkets in line?
I really don't think so. I think it's all about the definition of what they've done wrong and how it's policed. And I'm sure they'll wriggle their way out of it.
Can you tell us about your experience dealing with these big chains?
So, you know, we had got black banded from Woolworths before, and, you know, it's not a great feeling to just sort of get shafted like that. They're constantly trying to force prices down, and when they're setting prices and putting unrealistic expectations on fruit and quality, specs, you know, they're all levers that they can pull to keep their supplies down. It's hard because I'm a 3rd generation grower, and, you know, my grandfather came over from Italy after the Second World War, and we worked hard. You know, he worked hard, my father worked hard, I worked hard as well. And now all that work is just getting pushed up into heaps and burnt. So that's hard, but then the easy part is the pricing that we were getting and all the rigmarole, lots of red tape. The straw that broke the camel's back, really.
It's quite tragic to see those trees in the background there, Michael. The retribution from supermarkets, I mean, you're not dealing obviously with the CEO of Woolies or Coles, but you're dealing with middlemen. What sort of retribution from supermarkets have you heard about, not necessarily yourself?
The retribution is just not buying their produce. So it's very easy to do and very hard to police.
Right, and if they don't buy your produce because there are so few players in the market, you've got no one else to sell to. This, I think, is the rub, because this review has not recommended that we break up the big supermarket chains, break the duopoly or triopoly, whatever it is at the moment. The opposition has said that it's a Mickey Mouse review for that reason. Do you think that we need something that radical?
That is quite radical. Companies are there to make money, but governments and industry bodies need to set some rules. So why don't they set some rules and make a level playing field? And then I think everyone can make some money, and even the consumer, they're the people that need to get good quality produce, fresh and at a good price, not a supermarket making record profit on expensive fruit and vegetable that should be cheap.
I guess this is the first step down the road of trying to come up with some rules. We'll see whether they get implemented, whether they're effective, or perhaps something bigger is coming down the line. Michael, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And we should say that Coles, Woolies and Aldi, they have all told the project today that they support the code of conduct becoming mandatory. Their full statements are up on our website.